What's going on, my soccer parents? It's Bali with Soccer Parent Life, checking in here to really talk about something that I find interesting. And I think a lot of us parents are going to, I think some of you will relate to this. Obviously, everyone's got different backgrounds, different situations. But with my background coming from humble beginnings, I think what I kind of share with a lot of folks is that I've worked hard in my life because what I want to do is I want to provide better for my children. I want my kids to have a better life, better opportunity, not have to go through some of the things that I went through. However, on the flip side, everything I went through is what has allowed me to succeed and do as well as I've done in life. I'm not the richest man. I'm not the poorest man. I have done good for myself, and I'm proud of myself for what I am. I don't really compare myself to other folks. I just look at me and try to do the best that I can. But I look back at what made me succeed in the difficult times, like what has helped me. And it's always the trials and the difficult times and the memories of struggle. Those were all the things that helped me. And what's crazy is that when you start doing well for yourself, and the better you do, the less your kids go through those struggles that shape them to do well in life. So it's crazy how life works like that. So as you will hear me say many times, sports is a great way to kind of offset that, to give them that ability to learn hard lessons, struggle, and be sharpened by adversity. So I listen to these two videos through that lens of what I'm talking about, so you can kind of understand where my perspective comes from. So the first video is right here. This is from Morgan. I'm probably going to butcher your name, Morgan, but Morgan Stewart, 18, and she's going to talk to us a little bit, and let's listen into what she has to say, because I'll be honest with you, this is an excellent delivery of something that I share with what she's talking about. Oops.
Because you can strike out, you can lose the championship game, you can fail, flat out fall on your face, and there's always another game. There's a way to learn from those failures, and there's step-by-step process of how that you're going to minimize the amount of times that that's going to ever happen again. And if we look at it in terms of life, that's what you're trying to do. But yeah, there's way scarier ways to fail in life. Obviously, I don't need to list them, but this is where kids should strive to figure out how to use failure as a tool. Because if we can feel safe failing and recovering, we can create that habit of failing, recovering. And then you escape the fear of failure, and we become masters of recovery. We become masters of getting better after we've pushed ourselves. So imagine the exponential growth that happens when you discover that it's completely safe to fail in sports. The safest.
All right, so this concept that she's talking about, and I'll be honest with you guys, I hate all these little flashy terms. I use them myself too because they're easy to communicate, but this whole safe space stuff, I don't like it. Call me old school. I just don't like that phrase, but it's actually it's a really easy way to kind of express what it is that you're trying to create is an area or an experience for them to be able to suffer. I know suffering usually has a negative connotation to it. We always think of it like as something we want to protect ourselves from. But I believe that within a environment that has some bumpers to it, some limitations on the suffrage, you could still learn from that. So the way that she describes it, I think it's very to the point, and I actually share a lot with her because this is what my goal always was. If you've been following the account for a while, you'll understand that that's really why I put my kids in sports. That's still been the primary goal for me since day one. So this is perfect for it. Now, the second video is something where someone is talking about it. This young lady, it looks like her name is Haley Davidson, and she was on this podcast, Bryce Wilson. I just randomly ran across this, and I was like, dude, what a wonderful story. But what she communicates is just something that she's obviously a little bit older and she's talking about her experience when she's a young adult. But I think this kind of ties in to what the other lady was talking about as far as creating this environment where they are able to fail and able to learn how to pick themselves back up, understanding how to process the failure, understanding how to persevere through that. Like that's a skill set. That's something that is not. Some people actually, I would say, are born with it. Some people are just naturals at that. It's just the way they view the world. A lot of us are not. A lot of us have to learn it, and it's hard to learn it. In my opinion, sometimes in having an easy life, if you're not already built that way, you'll never learn it. And then you'll actually struggle in life because you can't overcome adversity, because adversity comes one way or another. There's some things you cannot buy out of. There's some things that are just going to show up. So let's go ahead and listen to Haley really quick.
Draft day came, and I remember sitting in front of the TV with my mom, waiting for my name to get called, and it broke my heart when it didn't get called. I just remember being like, I don't want to quit though. If anything, it makes me want to do it even more. My agent is like, look, I can get you into this Swedish team. And I was like, yeah. Packed my bags, moved over to a small little village, Sunne, Sweden. You walk out of the tunnel, and it's just like this huge stadium. It was such a beautiful experience with life and with soccer. If something doesn't work out, there's something else that will be better for you. Acceptance isn't like giving up. Acceptance is, I can't control external things. I can only control me. What you tell yourself between your ears is so important. You gotta be your own best friend. Draft.
Bruh. Do you see how beautiful that is, man? The mentality, just listening to her at such a young age, understand that concept of, control what you can control. I think it's a beautiful thing that sports can teach you that, and I'm sure her experience of not being drafted was very difficult, because it's like these young people work so hard to get there, and basically what you're being told by the system, in this case the NWSL, is you're not good enough, we don't want you. That is such a hard thing to accept. But when you have the right tools and you've been given the right environment to be able to understand how to process a difficult message like that, you can really, rise out of that. And the way she described it, I'm just like, it gives me chills, man. Just because I think that concept, think about it, right? Her soccer career someday will come to an end. And that's just true for everyone. Now, you got some, people that push it into their 40s and they're great, but those are the anomalies. They're not everyone. Everyone's sports career comes to an end, and then you go out into life. And even during your sports career, you're dealing with life. But when you can understand that, and you can focus in on what you can control, you can be accepting of the surrounding challenges. When you can understand all of that, man, you could really persevere in life, and you could really do well, and you're almost unstoppable. It's like an armor that you put on that protects you from the world, because no matter what you get thrown at you, if you understand that concept of like, hey, this is a challenge, this is just another roadblock, this is just another hurdle, I'm gonna be okay. I could persevere through this. I'm not gonna worry about what I can't control. I'm just gonna accept what this is, and then I'm gonna focus on what I can control to work my way towards overcoming or redirecting or whatever it is you can view it as. But I wanted to really put these out there, because a lot of the times, guys, I'm honest with you, really a lot of my goal here is to push out to you guys that there is more than the weekend winning games. There's more than your daughter playing D1 college. Those are all great things, but there's a bigger picture here that, as a dad, I am so fortunate and so grateful that I understood it and got it right, even though it was not a straight path to it. So I really want to share with you guys that this is what your ultimate goal is because I always tell you guys that you may not always be here, and you want your children to be young adults that can verbalize this kind of understanding of the world, where they are able to overcome, they are able to process things. So hopefully you guys gain something from this, but I just want to commend these two young ladies for the way that they, the way they communicated their message. It really help me kind of share what I'm trying to share and trying to push out into the world. So till the next one, guys, and take care.